Hi, welcome to another trick of the week. In this one, we're going to look at 5 chords or power chords. You might have been looking at a chart and seen, say, C5 or G5, something like that, and wondered what on earth it was. And you might also have heard people talking about power chords. What are they and how can we play them on the uke? Rock guitarists often play power chords, particularly when they are playing through an overdriven, distorted amp or through distortion effects. Because if you play regular major and minor chords through those, they can sound a bit horrible. There's just too much going on and all the frequencies fight and it's not a nice sound. So what they did was they pared down their chords to the bare minimum and got rid of the notes that were causing the problem so that they could get a really strong, powerful rock sound. Now, of course, we're playing the ukulele, and yes, there are people that will plug their ukuleles in and put them through distortion pedals, but that's not really why I'm showing you this. It's because if you play one of those rock songs, and maybe you get the chords off the internet, and you strum them and they're regular major and minor chords, it might just not sound right. Now, it's okay if you want to do your own version, but if you want to capture some of that rock power, you need to play this kind of chord. Basically, a power chord is a major chord or a minor chord without the note that tells us whether it's a major chord or a minor chord. Technically, I know they're not actually chords because a power chord only has 2 notes in it, and you really are supposed to have 3 notes to make a chord, but that aside, we lose the note that tells us whether it's major or minor. So you can find some of these out for yourself. If you know how to play a chord and you know how to play the minor version of that chord, then that's the note we're after, and we have to stop playing that note and ideally move that note around until it's the same as one of the other notes in a chord. Let me show you what I mean with a G chord. Here's a G, here's a G minor. Now, as you can see, only one note has moved. It's this one on the first string, which is at the 2nd fret in a G chord, and the 1st fret in a G minor chord. Now, we don't want either of those. We want to find a note that exists somewhere else in the chord and put that on the 1st string instead of one of those 2. If we reach up to the 5th fret with our little finger, now that's hard if you hold down a full G, but of course don't really need our 2nd finger now, so we can play our 1st finger on the C string, our 2nd finger on the E string, and our little finger on the 1st string, the A string. So we've got open, 2, 3, 5, and that 5 there, that note, is the same as the note our index finger is holding down. They're an octave apart, but they're both the note of D. And now we have the notes of G, D, G, D, just those 2 notes. And that is a G5 chord or a G power chord. Now, it's not always so easy to do it, especially if the note that you're looking to move is in an awkward place, and when you try and add a note to replace it, it's too much of a stretch. So here are a few nice, easy to do ones. We've had our G5. How about a C5? If we play a regular old C chord, but instead of holding down one string with our index finger or whatever finger you're using, we hold down 2 strings. Open, open, 3, 3. G, C, G, C, just 2 notes, and we've lost the E that was making it a C major. Here's another one, an A chord. If we play an A chord, the note that makes that major and minor is under our index finger here. We don't want either of those, but we can double up the note that our open E string is playing instead. We hold down the 2nd fret of the G string, the 4th fret of the C string, and then the remaining 2 strings open. 2, 4, open, open. A, E, E, A. An A power chord. Now, with those 3 shapes, we can move them around just by using a bar. So if I want to play a D power chord, I can take my C power chord and move everything up 2 frets, which means I bar the 2nd fret and use my little finger at the 5th fret to cover the highest 2 strings. In fact, it doesn't really need to be a full bar. As long as you're holding down the lowest two strings, that's going to be fine. So we have 2, 2, 5, 5. A D power chord. And once we've moved it there, we can move it up to, say, the 4th fret. An E power chord. And so on all over the neck. So the next time you see a 5 chord or a power chord written on a chart, or you're playing a rock song and it just doesn't sound quite right, quite rocky enough, try replacing the chords, or at least as many of them as you can, with power chords. I hope this has helped, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.